Hello everyone. Welcome to the final part of my head spins challenge. I'm very happy how these sig figs turned out, so I hope you will enjoy this. As always, special thanks to my lovely patrons and all of you who still watch my videos. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out any future uploads. And let's get into it, shall we? It really was a bad idea to test his boyfriend's reaction to his pretended sickness, especially since he had already seen to what length they would go just to keep him healthy. Even though his mind still didn't know how to accept it fully yet. As of lately, Kugure really tried to talk about his issues with his boyfriends. Each instance left him guarded against the possible backlash, and with his heart racing. But there was something freeing about it as well. As if someone took the pressure squeezing his chest and took it away, allowing him to breathe freely again. It was strange to bare his heart to someone. Scary even. But after spending so much time in Yuki and so scared, he wanted to believe they wouldn't use his weakness against him again. He paused that line of thinking, shaking his head. Why again? Yuki didn't know. It wasn't on purpose, for sure not. Now, everything okay? The gentle voice snapped him back into the darkened living room, making him realize he started subconsciously clutching one of the throw pillows he was rearranging before his mind took him elsewhere. Before he managed to collect his thoughts, Shibama was by his side, wincing as he slowly settled on the couch next to him. Something hurt? No, I just remembered something. Is it really just that? Kugure nodded, hoping he was convincing enough for Shibama to not worry about him. He wasn't sure if it was in the light of his last birthday, or because he let slip details about his childhood in his delirium. But Shibayama seemed to really try to take the edge off of his questions concerning health and well-being. He appreciated it, he really did. But sometimes, he couldn't help but wonder if it wasn't just an act in order to keep the peace. Hey, shh, it's fine. It's gone. You're safe here, I promise. Right. As if Shibama was someone who would pretend like this. Minding Yuki's still not fully healed ribs, he carefully sagged against him, biting on his tongue to suppress the tiny whimper threatening to leave his mouth when Shibama started playing with his hair. There you go. Are you sure nothing's hurting? It's not. I'm fine, I promise. Perhaps he was sabotaging his challenge attempt with saying that, but he couldn't let Shibama worry so much. Not now. Not when he cared for him. He risked relaxing into the warm touch, earning a soft smile and a gentle ruffle of his hair. For a while able to forget everything nasty going on in his body and mind. Maybe it was worth it in the end since it led him here, into their homey living room, into the arms of two amazing people. Speaking of, did So say when he's going to come home? Good question. He said he still needed to finish something, but that was like an hour and a half ago. He should be here already. Could they maybe have one of those evenings for parents? Maybe, though I doubt the kindergarten would need them this often. They had one 2 months ago. I'll call him again. How dares he ruin our movie date? He tried for a playful tone. But for Kugure, the badly hidden worry lacing his voice was as clear as day. But he couldn't blame him, nor his own heart for speeding up with the same worry. It had been the third time in the last week or so when Inuoka arrived home much later than he should have, always giving the same excuse of having to finish something at work. What it was, he never said, but a sudden change was weird to say the least. Especially since Inuoka couldn't keep a secret for the life of him, meaning that unless this was such a damning secret, even his honest-to-a-fault nature managed to hide it, they had some unknown issue on hand. And Kugure didn't like either option one bit. Disappointed by the loss of contact when Shibama got up to get his phone, he squeezed his hands between his knees, hissing when his ankle moved. Why can't it stop hurting already? It's been over a month. Not picking up on me, are you? Maybe that means he's on the way already? Maybe. He didn't sound convinced, his frown gripping Kugure's chest like an invisible hand. Let's give him 10 minutes. Loosely translated to, let's wait for a bit longer before starting to panic and calling hospitals. Kugure just nodded, unsure what else to do since, with his crutches, he would be useless in physical searching anyway. He clenched his hands in his lap, mentally calling for Inuoka to come home soon and unharmed, as if he somehow developed a mental connection. Although it never hurt to try, as silly as it might sound. Minutes ticked by, and yet no call nor message came through. Shibama started pacing around a moment ago, only intensifying Kugure's restlessness as well. Unfortunately, his only outlet was to twitch his fingers, the silence weighing heavily on him. He wanted to do something to help, but the only thing he could do right now was to look up the contacts of all the nearby hospitals. Okay, well, we waited long enough already. He was just about to dial the first number Kugure showed him, when the rattling of keys stopped both of them mid-movement. A giant boulder fell from Kugure's heart, his urge to rush to the door growing on strength. And he might have done just that if it wasn't for Shibama's hand laid on his shoulder. There were some thuds and bangs before dragged footsteps finally sounded in the hallway and on the living room floor. Hey. That's it? Hey? After we didn't know about you for 2 hours? A heavy sigh escaped Inuoka's mouth, his forehead scrunched. Come on, it's not like I did it on purpose. I'm sorry, okay? I needed to finish something and it got long. He more stumbled than walked towards the couch, looking at the end of his strength and, much to Kugure's concern, rather pale and sickly. Are you alright? What? Yeah, it's fine. I'm just tired, I guess. He groaned quietly, rubbing his eyes. My head hurts. Kugure opened his mouth already to voice his concerns, considering Inuoka was also still recovering from a head injury. But in the next second, he sprang up instinctively to catch Inuoka before he could fall. Sharp pain shot through his whole leg the moment he stepped on it, but there was the last of his worries. Careful. You too. Sit down, I've got him. However, Inuoka's eyes quickly opened again, taking a fraction of his weight from Kugure. Sorry, I should sit down, huh? Yeah, no shit. Come on. Slowly, they maneuvered Inuoka to the couch, helping him to sit down only from worry that lying down could do more harm than good. Kugure gritted his teeth against the pain still throbbing through his leg, but managed to keep his face steady in a many times practiced manner. This wasn't about him. His discomfort could wait. Should we call an ambulance? What if it's something related to that injury you had? No, it's fine. I'm sure it's nothing. I'm not taking that as proof of anything anymore with you two. Stay seated. I'll call a doctor. And who's going to drive? Who cares? I'm not risking you dying on us because you are stubborn. Kugure shivered with that image, squeezing Inuoka's arm. Let it get checked, please. Inuoka looked torn for a moment, but then just sighed and nodded. Okay, sorry for the trouble. You'll only be in trouble if you've overworked yourself into another brain bleeding. Now shush and rest. Inuoka nodded obediently and leaned a little into Kugure's side, barely keeping his eyes open. It seemed like a long night was ahead of them again. The weather was surprisingly nice that day, perfect for going out on a date and to do a challenge. At least that's what Hayato told himself as Semi gathered them up to chase them outside in order to spend some quality time together. Of course, he would be the last one to complain about that. It's been ages since they all went out together and they deserved some peaceful time after everything that happened recently. With all the injuries and the bad mood going around, one could almost forget to be happy. And to be perfectly fair, he did want to wait with the challenge for later. Sure, he really wanted to see how the three would react when he, the last one to ever go down with sickness, was unwell, but the last thing he wanted was to ruin their date with a pretended sickness. Especially when Taichi was finally smiling again. Can't be that, like ever. Makes everything better. He breathed in the fresh air free of all the smoke and dirt of the city before he looked around for a hand to hold. His first choice was Taichi, of course, but he seemed currently rather preoccupied with Semi trying to stick some flowers behind his ears, meaning there was only one option left. He grinned at Shirabu and reached his hand towards him, taking note of the little wrinkles gathered around his eyes. Come on, you grump, you are lagging behind. Shirabu hummed something he didn't understand before he reluctantly let Hayato grab his hand while avoiding his gaze. Don't be childish, we are in public. Yeah, and? Even adults have the right to act like children sometimes. But you don't have to abuse that right all the time. He froze, a flash of something close to horror crossing his face before his shoulders slumped a little. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that. It's fine. Though, is everything alright? He frowned and instinctively reached out to check Shirabu's forehead, despite Shirabu looking at him a bit like a feral cat. But he would rather risk getting bitten than miss something important. Everything is fine, I'm just burning. Can we go to a shade or something? Yeah, sure. We should buy something to drink anyway. There's a stall over that side, if I remember correctly. Right, let's go there then. Maybe they will have ice cream too. He grabbed Taichi's hand and tugged him forward to where they sensed shade. Taichi gave them one last look over his shoulder before he followed after Semi, though Hayato was sure he didn't imagine the worry in his eyes. if it was because he felt like something wasn't quite right with Shirabu's answer, or because he expected a nervous blow-up like several times before, Hayato wasn't sure. But it was a reason for concern. You know, I might do better with hearing the truth from time to time. Shirabu clenched his jaw, but then just sighed again, shaking his head. I know. I'm trying not to blow up when he's around, I really am. I can tell, but even that is making him worried. Then what am I supposed to do? I don't want to yell at him for no reason again, but I don't want him to worry either. You could start by telling us when you are tired, or what's really bothering you. The sun is bothering me. I want to sit down. Smiling, Hayato gently ruffled his hair and then nudged him in the same direction Semi and Taichi walked away. There we go. Let's go then. They did indeed found an ice cream parlor right next to the stall selling water and lemonade, and so they soon found themselves sitting in the shade of a large maple tree, each with their respective drink and a popsicle. Chatter flowed easily as well, although Hayato got a glimpse of Taichi stealing careful glances at Shirabu from time to time. Shirabu seemed to notice too, if he could judge by the little twitches in his face, suggesting he was fighting inwardly quite a lot, until he apparently couldn't manage in silence anymore. Just ask if you want something. Despite his tone not sounding harsh in the slightest, Taichi still flinched under his gaze, clenching the bottle in his hands. Sorry. No, wait, I mean it. If you need something, say it. That sounds so ironic coming from you. Shush, as if you are any better. Taichi. I was wondering if everything is really okay. You get this look sometimes that only happens when you are exhausted and about to snap. Glad he wasn't the only one to notice something was off, Hayato nodded along to support Taichi's claim. He's right. You've been on edge the whole time we've been out, haven't you? No, I'm fine. Nothing is wrong. He stopped, glancing over at Taichi before letting out a deep sigh, his whole posture deflating. Okay, fine, I'm tired. Like, not physically, maybe a little bit. But I just want to sit somewhere and not do anything or even think. Why didn't you say something? I would think of something else we could do at home. Because I didn't want to ruin it for you three. He bit hard on his lip, the twitching of his fingers and raggedy breath betraying just how drained mentally he had to be. With all the things that happened recently and how nasty I've been to you sometimes, I wanted you to have a nice day. Softly clicking his tongue, Semi got up from his spot and plopped down next to Shirabu, pulling him under his chin. And Hayato could just silently envy Semi's ability to do that without having to worry about getting hit. If it's not all of us, we aren't having a nice day. You said that yourself before, remember? Yeah, we can always go out when you are rested. But it's so rare we all have free time on the same day. Rare, but not never. He got up, reaching out to Shirabu to pull him up and stabilize him in case he was about to fall. Come on, let's get you home. Despite some weak protests, they managed to convince Shirabu that going home was the best course of action for the day. Fortunately, he didn't seem too sick and could walk even without their support, but the way his steps wobbled occasionally was a clear sign that he needed to rest. Taichi rushed away the moment they entered their flat, returning with Shirabu's favorite pillow and a plush penguin from his collection. "What's that for?" To help you sleep. You usually fall asleep quicker with them." Hayato grinned, kissing Taichi's cheek. "Our little observer. Hey, whatever helps you rest is good." Shirabu didn't protest either, a sign that Taichi was either right or that Shirabu really tried not to hurt his feelings, and squished the plush to his chest. "Thank you." "Should one of us stay with you?" "I will, just in case." "You don't have to." "Hey, better safe than sorry. What if you really turn out to be sick, huh?" Shirabu looked like he wanted to refuse, but after a single glance at Taichi's hopeful face, he sighed and nodded, finally laying down on the broad pillow. "Alright, but you better stay close." He made grabby hands as well, and Hayato had to smile when the otherwise so grumpy doctor snuggled to Taichi's chest with the plush squished between them. He quickly kissed Shirabu's temple and then motioned for Semi to leave, giving the two one last loving glance before he closed the door behind them. "Well, could have gone better, but at least he'll rest now." "I would say that's a good result overall. So, wanna play something?" "Sure, why not?" Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And not only this part, but also the whole series. Yeah, it's been a while since I wrote Sick Fix, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm also very happy about how they turned out, which is quite a rare thing as of lately, unfortunately, when I would be content with how the stories turned out. But hey, as long as you like it, I will be absolutely overjoyed. If you have any requests or ideas, the request form is linked in the video description. See you next time!